everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to our coffee chat. This morning I'm actually coming solo as Christina had some stuff she had to get done today of an urgent matter. So I just wanted to come on and say hello. Welcome. Happy Monday. Bi-weekly, twice a month, we do these coffee chats live right here in Bariatrics Beyond the Honeymoon. And we come on and we usually have something to talk about. Oftentimes we have question and answers, and it just gives you an opportunity to get in front of us if you have a question, also to let us know how you're doing, what you're struggling with, if you have any questions, that kind of thing, which is why we love doing these coffee chats. This morning we were talking about a pretty serious conversation that we have been seeing over and over and over again, which is even the strongest struggle. We've seen it in our paid groups, we've seen it here in our Bariatric Beyond the Honeymoon group, that there are lots of people struggling. And here's the really important thing I want you to understand, and what we're going to talk a little bit more about today, is it's okay to not be okay. All right, let me repeat that for you guys. It's okay to not be okay. And I think we, as women, especially mothers, caregivers, all of these roles that we play, is that oftentimes we beat ourselves up over not being okay. You know, we're supposed to be stronger, we're supposed to be better, we're supposed to be all of these things, which, you know, we all know is hard to do, especially when you are struggling with your own demons, things that are going on in your own world. You know, it doesn't really matter what is happening. Everybody has things they're dealing with. And so I want you just to, first of all, give yourself a second to say it's okay to be okay. All right, so good morning, Lindsay. Happy Monday. It's okay if you're not okay today. It's okay if things are going wrong today. It's okay if you're struggling today. And I think that's a really, really important thing I want you guys to keep in mind as you move through, well, let's be honest, the holiday months, which, you know, I saw a meme this morning that says, you know, I'm going to hang up my normal anxiety and I'm going to bring on my holiday anxiety. And, you know, as much as these memes are out there to make us laugh when we are struggling with certain things, that is very true. The holiday season, no matter what is going on, is definitely a stressful time, you know, and then add in the complexity of this whole year in 2020, you know, when it comes to the pandemic, and many of you guys aren't necessarily seeing your family, and sometimes that could be a good or a bad thing. You know, some people are stuck at home. I've seen people who have had family separations happening, i.e., you know, sister is going to go with her family and mom, and I am going to go with, you know, my family and dad, and it's making sure that we're keeping people safe, yet it really changes the dynamic of what our, you know, holiday might look like. Now, that's just an example. My holiday is here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where we live, and my family sits here in this house with me on a regular basis, so it's a little bit different for us. But we definitely don't have people coming to visit us, which we have usually done in the past. We've always had either my mom or Ben's mom or somebody here over Christmas, because, you know, people love to come to a hot place for Christmas, most people, but it changes it. So it's okay to not be okay. And I want you guys to know that, you know, I have people say to me, yeah, but my problems probably aren't as big as their problems, or probably aren't as important as that problem, or whatever. But guess what? It's important to you. And that's the most important thing, right? If you feel like it is knocking you off your game, or you feel like you're really struggling, then it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter how important other people might think your issues are. They're important to you, and they are struggling and keeping you down. And so that's really what we're going to be focusing on today. So it's okay to not be okay, you know, even the strongest struggle. And then we're going to look at how to refocus and relearn. You know, a lot of people, especially here in the Bariatrics Beyond the Honeymoon group, are 18 plus months out from surgery. Not everybody. We have some non-surgery. We have some people who are a little bit earlier than that. Maybe they're just in kind of their honeymoon phase still, but we all have different struggles depending on what's going on. And so I want you guys to know that just because, you know, you might be veterans at this doesn't mean you can't have struggles still, doesn't mean you can't, forget things doesn't mean that you're still in a place where you are wondering how I can manage that into my world, or how is that going to happen. And every time something changes, I know across the board in US and in Canada, I mean here even in Mexico, the rules keep changing, right? First it's you're not supposed to see anybody, then you're in lockdown, not lockdown, then you're in only 10 people, and so when you are a planner or people who like to kind of have an idea of what's going on, they really struggle. And that's the thing, right? Just because you are healthy and you are in a place where you may not be worried about certain things doesn't mean it's not okay to have that concern. So just remember that the first thing, number one tip of the day is be kind to yourself. Just like we ask you to be kind to other people. You have no idea what somebody's going through, and you have no idea, why they might have cut you off in traffic, or why they might have been a little bit of an asshole in line at the Starbucks, or whatever it may be. I don't love unkindness in general, and I think that we have to always remember that we are our worst culprits of that. You would never, ever, ever say some of the things we say to ourselves to somebody else. Right? I have two daughters, they're 12 and 10, and when I think about some of the things I've said to myself, if I had ever considered saying that to them, or my sisters, or my mother, or my friends, or my, whatever, I would have slapped my own self. It would have been horrible. I would never say that to somebody. But yet here we go, saying things to ourselves all the time. And actually coming in January, we are going to be doing I haven't quite decided if it's going to be a master class or a mini course, but it's basically about getting the bitch out of your head. We all have this mean girl sitting in our head who tells us all the things, right? All the things. And I'm really passionate about this because even though I've worked really hard on, mastering my own mean girl, she still creeps up and she's still a bitch. Like, she's just a horrible, horrible person. And so we're trying to figure out ways to really master her and kick her to the curb. For once and for all. And unfortunately, she never actually leaves, but we can quiet her a little bit. So that is something that's coming soon. So just keep that on your radar. But we all have that person inside of us, and whether you have a name for her, whether you just call her the bitch, or whether you call whatever, we are not very nice to ourselves. So being kind is the most important thing, I say, when you're struggling with certain things. So maybe you're struggling with meal prepping. You used to work really well with meal prepping, and then something changed, and now you're struggling. You're like, I'm such an idiot. Why can't I get back to meal prepping? No, be kind to yourself. Maybe you were really great at exercising and then the gym's closed and you're just like, damn it, why can't I get back into exercise? Be kind to yourself. Now, this isn't giving you an excuse, right? We know our excuses are there. They're valid sometimes they're not. I'm not giving you an excuse to not do something, but I'm saying to yourself, make sure you're being kind about it, okay? So it's not, it's an excuse for me to not do this, is this. No, but there's a big difference between giving yourself an excuse and then giving yourself a real bitch out, right? Where your mean girl is just at you saying all of these things. So remember, it's okay to not be okay, and just be kind to yourself about why and how and all of those things. You hear us talk a lot about assessments and awareness and all of those things. So these are the big pieces of every relearn and every refocus that we talk about. Is oftentimes we know what we should and shouldn't be doing. It's just a matter of doing it. I have a client who was saying, I've gained some weight. And okay, we're having a conversation and what's going on, and she's like, I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I'm like, okay, so let's talk about it a little bit. And I'm like, okay, realistically, ask yourself honestly, do you really don't know what's going on, or do you know what's happening? And she's just like, I know what's going on. It's my food, and I'm struggling with this and I'm struggling with that, right? So oftentimes we know what's happening, we just are either too afraid to admit it to ourselves, or we just haven't really had that time to do that full assessment of what's happening around us, okay? So when we talk about refocusing and when we talk about relearning, it really is about the assessment first. And Christina and I get hundreds of messages, and I legitimately hundreds of messages a week asking, what about this, or what should I do, or how should I do these things, and we always either suggest them to go check out our toolkit, which has a ton of resources in it, check out our units within this group, because they're there is a ton of information in there. But we always recommend starting with that assessment because we think we know what we're doing wrong, or we think we know what's going on, but we have a lot of misjudgment in our bodies, like in our brains. Like we think all of the things, oh, I haven't eaten enough, I'm not eating enough, I'm eating too much, I'm doing all these things, but yet we don't really know for sure. So part of that relearn, refocus is to get into that assessment piece, to take a look at what's going on in your life right now. And again, this isn't about excuses, but did your Aunt Sarah move in because she lost her job and lost her house, and all of a sudden that's changed the dynamic of your schedule? Did you start working from home and then got back to work, and then they closed you down again, and now you have to relearn how to work from home again, right? Are you struggling with buying some healthy foods? Because let's be honest, financially, sometimes things can get really, really hard, right? Are there things going on inside your head that's sabotaging you from doing the things you know you should be doing? All of those things make a difference, and all of those things are going to change how you do things. So that's why I want you to do a full assessment, an honest, truthful assessment. If you're eating 4 cookies every single night for the last 2 weeks, well, you know what's going on, right? If you're struggling with actually getting up and getting to your workout, and every time you press snooze or Alexa snooze or whatever it is, you know what's going on. So have that moment of a true assessment with honesty and no judgment, right? This isn't the judgment, this is about being kind, but just know that these things are what's happening. I have missed my workouts. I am not meal prepping anymore. I am eating the cookies. I am doing these things, right? You are the only one who can control what goes in your mouth, what thoughts are said, what you drink, what you say, right? What actions you have. There is no way that I can blame Aunt Sarah for how I do things. Can I think Aunt Sarah is coming into my house and changing up my routine is being part of the issue? Absolutely, 100%. But guess what? It's not Aunt Sarah's fault. I have to take responsibility. Okay, so relearn, refocus, so assessment, be kind, and take responsibility. All right, and it's interesting because I say to people on a regular basis, there is no magic pill. I don't have a magic wand that I can magically make everybody work in amazing ways and get their amazing results and happen them tomorrow. However, there are very specific strategies you can put into place to really help you move past some of these things. So it's really important that you take that time to look at it. I know some of you guys, you watch these coffee chats and you're like, oh yeah, she makes a lot of sense, or that's really interesting, and then you don't do anything about it. And I know that because I talk to people on a regular basis and I get questions on a regular basis. Even people I work with one-on-one in my personal training or life coaching business, or in our Your Bariatric Transformation Academy, we hear these things come up. We hear them come up over and over and over again. So we're not just saying these things. I'm not just saying these things to say to you, it's funny because I hear people say all the time, are you talking directly to me? I'm not. I'm talking to everybody, and that's the thing. So many people think that they're alone in this journey, alone in their struggles, alone in their, challenges, and they're not. They're really not. It's not unusual. It's not unique. It's very much part of everyday, everybody's way. And so this is really an important part. So know that you're not alone, and reach out when you're feeling that way. We have people even in our private community for our Your Bariatric Transformation who are still reaching out and saying, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that, I feel all alone. And then boom, 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 20 other members jump in and they're like, I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly, why you're doing these things, in the sense of, this is what's happening to me. Okay, it feels great to know you're not alone. Even if somebody doesn't have necessarily the answers for you, it just feels good to know that you're not alone. All right, so assessment, always refocus, relearn. Be kind to yourself, always refocus, relearn. Be honest with yourself and take responsibility, refocus and relearn. and then just know that you're not alone. So reach out for support. That's Refocus and Relearn. These are not new concepts, guys. If you've been here with Christina and myself for the last, God, I don't even know, almost 4 years, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not telling you guys, brand new, oh my gosh, life-changing, ideas. We're not. We're just telling you that the things that are working, that we know are working for the people who they are working for, is because they're doing the work. And it sounds so crazy, right? It's like, I remember a few years ago, I was teaching classes in a gym. And so I was teaching classes, and I had my daughter. She was younger at the time, and she was in the child minding place. And I went to go pick her up, and obviously one of the members in my class came to pick her up and pick up their kid. And she was like, oh, there's Mean Lindsay, picking up her kid. And, Gemma turns to me and she's like, Mean Lindsay? Why are they calling you Mean Lindsay? You're not mean. And I was like, well, I made them work really hard in their workout. And she turned around and she said, well, it is called a workout. It's not called an easy out, right? And it's just little things like that that just make me chuckle, because we make it so much more complicated than it happens to need to be. We do the work, we get the results. We don't do the work, we don't get the results. And that's just how it is. And again, it's not putting blame on anything. It's not saying, well, you should do this or you need to do that. But guess what? You look at the things that you're doing right and you keep doing them. You look at the things that you might not be doing as good, and you just try to improve them a little bit. Right? Just a little bit. We have a client that, has just changed one simple thing in his diet. One simple thing. He was eating 2 sausage and egg McMuffins every day from McDonald's. Every day for the last 10 years. That's what he was doing. And all we did was get him to eat 1 instead of 2, and then have a protein shake. Dogs are barking. Have a protein shake. So all he did was change that one thing, and he was able to make a huge difference and dent into his weight loss. Right? So we have all of these ideas on things that we can do, but then we try to implement them all at once, and that's the hard part, right? When we implement and try and then fail, and then we get frustrated and we get overwhelmed and we don't know what to do, and then we give up, right? We've all been there. I'm there with you. I try to do a lot of things, but I don't always succeed in all of them. And so we really want to look at the small stepping stones to reach their goals. So really, really big thing that we are doing starting tomorrow, which I am super excited about. For those of you guys who have been with us for, I guess since we started, we have done something called To the 12 Days of Bariatric giveaways. So every day for 12 days we gave something away. And this year has been just so strange, so weird, so crazy, that we just decided that it just wasn't enough. This year we needed to do a little bit more. December is stressful. We know how hard it is to kind of get things going. We decided to change it up, and 12 days to unbeep your ways. For those of you who know me, I don't beep much, but just so that in case people don't want it, Unbeep Your Ways is coming starting tomorrow. And I'm super excited for this and super proud of this, because let's be honest, our ways sometimes get a little blurry, get a little lost. We don't know where we're going sometimes, and then we add in the stress of holidays, and things can go messy, 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 messy. So 12 days to unbeep your ways. We are going to start tomorrow, and what it's basically going to be is it's a free event right here in this group, okay? During it, you're going to get a strategy each day on how to work with unfucking your ways. You're going to get a better opportunity to try something new. You're going to check things out, but we're also going to give some prizes away. We're also going to have some great discounts. No, we didn't do a Cyber Monday or a Black Friday deal, because we saved them all for our 12 days. So we have lots of prizes to be won. We have lots of fun things to be had. And each day you're going to get a tip. You're going to get a video, or we have a live, we have some checklists, we have some different things that we're going to give away for each day as part of the value portion of it. Then there's going to be an action item for you guys to do. And again, remember, we're talking baby steps. We're not asking you to boil the ocean. We're asking you to just kind of take that moment to do a few things. So, to give you an idea, so day 1 is our Let's Chat Gadgets, fitness, kitchen, and more. All right, so we're gonna come on and we're gonna talk a little bit about your favorite gadgets. We're gonna offer you guys an amazing, I think it's a crock pot, Instapot recipe book that we've kind of created and tweaked along the way, and that's going to be kind of for you guys to take a look at different recipes for that. But we're going to ask you guys, what's your favorite gadget? Is it your bands for your fitness? Is it your kitchen gadget? What is it? And we're going to ask you to post. And then you have 24 hours to get that post in, and then you get to win a prize. Now, every day those prizes are a little bit different. Every day the discounts that come along with those prizes are a little bit different. I'm not going to give it all away to you. You have to join, yes, right here in this group. You're going to get, there's going to be a post that we're going to post, and yes, we'll put it up as the announcement. We know Facebook can be a little weird sometimes. So if you ever go into this group and can't find it, just go right into the post, the announcement post, which is usually at the top. If you're on your phone, it's usually, there's a little button that you can click, and you'll see what it is there, and you'll post it, and you'll be a part of your 12 days to unfuck your ways, because you are going to be doing something every single day for the next 12 days. And guess what? If you do something every single day for the next 12 days, you're going to be in a great place. You're going to be working towards the next step, the next thing, the next process of your journey. And that's really what it's all about, right? I've heard people say, well, it's really hard to do this. It's really hard to do that. And I'm like, guess what? It's really hard to not and then be overweight and have diabetes and have heart disease and struggle that way. It's really hard on your body to have to sit all day long because you can't move, because you have no energy and you have zero self-confidence, and you don't want to put a bathing suit on when the kids are going to the beach. It's hard to do all of those things, and you just have to decide which hard is worth it. And I know my answer, but the truth of the matter is you have to know what your answer is. I know sometimes it feels overwhelming and so hard to get some of this stuff done. I know sometimes it feels every single day mundane, in and out. When is it going to end? The truth of the matter is you just have to pick your heart, okay? It's hard to do either of those sides of the coin. It's hard on your body. It's hard for your medicine. It's hard on the healthcare system. It's hard to feel crappy. It's hard to have no energy. It's hard to be self-confident, no confidence, or have no self-worth. It's hard to have that in place. And then on the other end of the spectrum of that, it's hard to meal prep. It's hard to eat well. It's hard to give up sweets. It's hard to do those things. But guess what? It's not impossible, and we're not turning around and saying you can't ever do this. I've talked a lot about the words that we use, and we're going to talk a little bit about this in day 2, which is our mindset coaching. We do a live mindset coaching call every single week in our Bariatric Transformation Academy, and we're actually going to be doing it right here in this group. So I'm going to come on and talk a little bit about our language and how our negative thoughts can sabotage ourselves. We're going to talk about that, but that's really important part of this process is choosing your heart. And there's a triathlete that I follow and respect very well. I have done lots of triathlons, Ironmans, that kind of thing. And he basically says, he has a hat, and I have one too, and it says, embrace the suck. Suck, S-U-C-K, embrace the suck. Because in a triathlon, in any journey, in any goal, there's going to be hard times. It's going to suck. It's going to be mentally draining. It's going to be physically challenging. It's going to be energy. Oh my gosh, where am I going to come up with it? It's going to suck. But embracing that suck means you can move forward. Embracing that suck, in my case, it meant I could cross the finish line or finish my training session. In our world of health and fitness and wellness and mindset, embracing the suck means you are doing the right thing. You are getting the stuff done. And that's really, really, really important when it comes to any type of journey. So 12 days to unfuck your ways is starting tomorrow with our kitchen gadgets, fitness gadgets, let's talk gadgets, and every single day from day 1, which is tomorrow, all the way till day 12, we are going to be figuring out all of the steps to kind of get to that point where you can move into the remainder of December and beyond. 2021 is coming. It's around the corner. It's crazy. December 1st is tomorrow. We've made it to the last month of the year. I have no idea how that happened, but we want 2021, well, we want a lot of things in 2021, right? We want a lot of things to change in 2021. But one of the biggest things we want in 2021 is to really get back into the rocking and the rolling of this journey. I know a lot of people have been struggling with sugar cravings, emotional eating, regain. We see it in our groups, we see it in our conversations, we see it in our coaching, we see it in our questions that come into our DMs, we see it. People are struggling, and even the strongest struggle. So don't think that you are alone on this, okay? Really don't think that you are alone. But get ready, because we are starting our 12 days to unfuck your ways. You knew it was going to be beepless soon. And getting it all, we're ending the 12 days with a mini party, which is basically how to put it all together on that day 12, which is actually a Saturday, December 12th. And we're going to have a little mini party, and we're going to have lots of fun at the end of it. But between the 1st and the 12th, you're going to not want to miss any day, because each of them talks about the difference of our 4 pillars, which is nutrition, of course, fitness, of course, mindset, my baby, I love it, and support, which is super, super important. All 4 of those, right? We put them into the success pillars because we know they all need to be focused on. Do they all need to be focused on at one go? No. Do they all need to be set up as 100% perfect? Absolutely not. Progression, not perfection. That's what it's all about. If you can do one thing right now that's going to change your day, what would it look like? What could it be? Could it be a little bit more water? Yeah. Right? Could it be one more piece of fruit? Could it be one less bag of chips? Could it be one less cookie? Right? What's one thing that you can do? And that's what we're focusing on in our 12 days. We are not saying you got to reinvent and change everything over the 12 days. But we are going to give you some strategies and tips to really get out of that place and into a better and new you, new year, and 2021 making it the best it can possibly be. So I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Again, if you guys have any questions about any of the 12 days, you can post them in the group on our posts. Yes, you are eligible to win as long as you do the task. So each day there's a task of something, as I said, as simple as day 1 is take a picture of your favorite gadget and tell us why. Simple, simple, simple. And then some of them are a little bit more, but you know, nothing that's too much time, because we already know you have so much time, and you have to focus on your own journey and all of those things. But you know, we're talking about nutritional struggles and how to overcome them. We're talking about the importance of tracking, of course, our favorite tools for success. We have fitness at any level. We have the importance of accountability and support. Mindset, of course, you know I'm going to talk about that. You know, we are talking about smoothies. We're talking about macros. We're also talking about micro habits. What? Yeah, we'll talk about those. That's on day 7, so we got lots to talk about. And so guys, now on day 12, as I said, how to put it all together to wrap it up in a nice little bow, put it under your Christmas tree. No, just kidding. It's going to give it all together and have a little bit of a party. And you know, Christina and I love to party, so that's the fun part of that as well. So guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know. Remember, the big key lesson of today is even the strongest struggle. It is okay to not be okay. Be kinder to yourself. And we're going to really, really focus on some of those negative words and negative thoughts that come through on Wednesday night when we do our mindset call right here in the group. So if you have any questions, please post them. Send me a message. Ask me some questions. Ask Christina some questions. We're always here for you. And let us know. Have yourself a fantastic Monday, whatever you're doing today. And I will speak to you guys, well, tomorrow for sure, but the rest of this week and right through these 12 days to get into our 12 days to unfuck your ways. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye.